Hi, everybody, and welcome to Drop Shot, where the love for tennis meets the thrill of competition. My name is Michele Dinella, and I will be your host and fellow tennis enthusiast. Join me on my personal tennis journey from the clay courts of southern Italy to the bustling streets of Washington, D.C. In each episode, my guests and I will share personal experiences, we'll comment on Grand Slams, analyze players and stats, and even offer tips on gear and apparel. Whether you are a seasoned pro or maybe just picking up a racket, sit back and get ready to serve, volley, and ace your way through the fascinating world of tennis.
Today is the 21st of June and it's Friday and it's 9:57 a.m. I'm about to leave to go to Queens. Queens today is quarterfinal days at Queens. I am really excited. It's been a couple of years. I have been wanting to go to this tournament, but a couple of years ago it was only one day and it was rained out. Last year everything was sold out by the time I looked at the tickets. This year I was a bit more spot on and managed to snag a great ticket for today. I think one of the best tickets to have in this sorts of tournament is the quarterfinals, and as a matter of fact we will see 4 matches all on center court, so that's what I'm really looking for. The matches are Jordan Thompson against Taylor Fritz, followed by Ben Harris against our Italian fellow Lorenzo Musetti, followed by Jack Draper, unfortunately, against Tommy Paul, and to finish the day up it's Korda against Hijikata. A fun story here is that this ticket mostly I purchased because I haven't managed to see Alcaraz live yet, and it's one of the few players I have yet to see, and I was really looking forward to see him play today, but unfortunately he lost in dramatic fashion yesterday against the home player Jack Draper, so we're gonna have to settle to see him play against Tommy Paul. And a bit unlucky in the sense that the matches will be fun. I'm looking forward for this day, and a bit unlucky in the sense that the only 2 seeded players left are Tommy Paul and Taylor Fritz. Although I would have loved to see Raonic as well, because watching Raonic on grass is quite amazing. But other big names that were in the tournament, they kind of got eliminated quite early. Just to mention a few, Dimitrov, could have been nice to see him, was seed number 3 and he lost against Korda. Rune was seed number 7 and he lost against Thompson. Andy Murray as well retired against Thompson yesterday or Wednesday, I can't remember. But anyway, yeah. And finally, Ben Shelton also lost in the first round, and Deminor lost, but he lost against Musetti, so no, can't complain much about that. So yeah, about to jump on the bus. It's a beautiful and lovely sunny day today here in the UK, and we should be there in an hour. I should have made it to the club like 1 hour ago, and Transport for London had different ideas, so I'm literally just making it to the club. I'm still not in yet, and players are about to take court for the first match. And at least I got to see Seb Korda walking into the club on the street while I was passing by. First match of the day in the books. Thompson defeats Taylor Fritz. It was a cool match, although I missed the first 3 games for the aforementioned Odyssey on the trip. Yeah, I have to describe Thompson as average. He played exactly at tour average level, and Fritz played pretty poorly, I would say lazy. He lost many points by being out of position, and he was kind of the author of his own dismay. Totally disagree with his choice of gear. He was in a full black attire. It's pretty sunny and warm for being Britain, and yeah, he deserved to lose. To be fair to Thompson, he did not concede any single breakpoint, so pretty good performance on serve. Court looks nice. It's breezy. There has been a couple of wacky bounces on kick serves, but just a few. Second match is in the books of the quarterfinals of the Queens. So a very dazzling match between Musetti and Billy Harris. Billy Harris with the wildcard, obviously Brit player, home crowd pushing him on, but a good Italian contingent made them voices heard. And it was a brilliant start by Musetti, going up 3-0, breaking him right away. Billy Harris struggled a bit to get into the match, but then he went pretty smooth from that point on, and yeah, it all came down to the later stages of the second set, where Musetti managed to break him on 5-5. So pretty tight second set. Very interesting match, quite funny, and yeah, it's nice to play around with the crowd, being an Italian and an away day in the Lions Den of the Brits. So now, as you can hear, they're warming up for the next quarterfinal, where we got Tommy Paul against Draper, who yesterday beat Alcaraz. Quarterfinal number 3 in the books here at Queens. Big win for Tommy Paul over Draper. Definitely the best match of tennis so far. Wind picked up, condition changed a bit during the match, and yeah, Draper backed by the whole crowd. And very statistically curious game. We had Draper winning 77% of points against Tommy Paul winning 66% of points, so basically tour average, albeit Tommy Paul won the total number of points by merely 4 points. So pretty close game. There were 3 breaks in the first set, a crucial break in the second set in the favor of Draper, and it all came down to those 4 points, and 1 break was enough for Tommy Paul in the third set to take him home. Very impressed by Tommy Paul, nothing bad to say about him on this match. Very lively game. And now, as you can hear again, players are coming out for the warm-ups for the last quarter-final of the day and last match of the day, which will see Nishihata against the aforementioned Sebastian Corda, which we crossed paths with when I was getting into the club. So it's the end of the second set between Seb Corda and Hishikata, and we are leaving the club as it became quite a very cold and windy classic British day. So, and it was getting late, so we kind of don't want to trust the transport for London again, and yeah, time to go back with the public transport. Interesting match as well. Nishihata and Corda started pretty poorly in the first set, especially Corda, and there were plenty of breaks and exchanges of breaks, and in the end it ended up in the first set tiebreak, which Hishikata won, and which was interesting because of the 4 matches Corda was the biggest favorite. So, and then I stayed for the second set before leaving, and having Corda coming back and winning in the second set. Regarding the overall experience, it was quite nice in terms of atmosphere. The club is pretty historic and it's in the dead center of London, so very, very peculiar venue. And the grass courts are always fascinating, especially here in England. And the court was pretty nice as well, in spite of my seat being quite upstairs, as you might have seen from the stories. I actually live pretty nearby the club, so it should have taken me around 40 minutes, an hour to get there. So I left around 10 a.m. to be there at 11, with play starting at 12. But unfortunately, as I mentioned in one of the kind of live recaps, that didn't happen. One of the buses just didn't appear, so I basically made it quite late into the club, and by the time I got to my seat, it was the first changeover in the Thompson against Taylor Fritz match. So yeah, I missed a few games there, but then it became more crowded and crowded, mostly because of Ben Harris and Jack Draper, obviously, both British guys. A lot of support from the home crowd. Very lively game, very entertaining, especially Draper against Tommy Paul. And I'm a bit disappointed in the sense that many of these players I already had luck and opportunity to see playing live, and I really got this ticket kind of hoping that Alcaraz would be there, because I mean that's the only player I kind of have not seen among the top players. So I was kind of bummed when he lost on Thursday, but that's the way it goes. In terms of prices and venue, I would say I'll say as usual. This is kind of my tactics when I look at tickets. Quarterfinals day usually means the best day. You get usually all 4 matches on center court, like it was the case today. And on top of it, they are all good quality matches, usually, even if you go to a 250 or a 500, which was the case at Queen's as well. So yeah, and usually the tickets cost a bit less in terms of they're more expensive for the semi-final and final. And so for this one in particular, if you want to make an example, I paid, I think, 125 or 130, can't remember exactly, but if you look at it from a per match perspective, it's basically £30 per match, which is not a bad deal. And if you consider that probably the semi-finals they will go for 180, you're probably paying around 90 per match, and yeah, the final probably the same as well. So yeah, best day for value, definitely quarterfinals. Don't regret making the choice. Unfortunately, I just assumed Alcaraz would make it there, but he didn't. So yeah, you can feel the disappointment there a bit, but yeah, that's the way it is. Really enjoyed the tennis, and obviously when you go into any British venue, especially with the tennis, whether it's Wimbledon, Surbiton, Nottingham, or the Queen's, you must have the PIMS. The PIMS is their, how can you say, summer beverage. If you're keen with Spritz Aperol, it's kind of a beverage like that. It's alcoholic, and it's kind of, from an Italian perspective, it's one of a few drinkable and eatable things that they have here in the UK, albeit I don't want to make too many of my British friends angry, but yeah, it's just the way it is. So yeah, one of the best and a must do when you go to such events. PIMS cost around £11.50, which is a kind of unfortunately normal price in London for a cocktail. So yeah, and it's also in line with the price that you get at Wimbledon as well. So yeah, make sure to bring some cash in terms of to those events if you want, and you plan to actually enjoy one or more PIMS. In terms of the club itself, as I said, is a very historic club in London, and it is really in the center of London, and it's pretty exclusive, and perhaps I got the feeling that in some sense it is even more exclusive than Wimbledon, in the sense that at Wimbledon usually there are 40,000 people per day in at least, and I guess like around 20,000 come from the queue with ground passes, so you have more of a melting pot of people rather than just the people that are like kind of high class at the club. I felt it more here at Queen's today rather than at Wimbledon. Wimbledon is a bit more mixed, although still it's one of the most elitarist and closed members club. But I mean, even the people that go at Wimbledon, obviously they're not all members, as it is the case for the Queens as well, but you kind of always feel a bit of, I would say posh, a bit snob, but yeah, for me it doesn't really matter, I just enjoy the tennis, so it was great to actually like just go there, go to my seat, enjoy some pimps and enjoy the tennis, which was very, very great.
This station is London Bridge.
In terms of organization, very nice, very smooth, I have to say. No queue at the entrance, security went quite fast. I didn't had much time to explore kind of all the surroundings of the club because of the aforementioned odyssey on the trip to get in and then leaving just before the last match was finished. But it was quite nice. It all revolves obviously around center court, which is the biggest court, and it has both a kind of north pavilion, south pavilion, and hospitality pavilion, which looked very clean, very nice. They all had bars, sandwiches, all beverages, obviously water refilling stations, never had to queue for the toilets and stuff like that. Is something very valuable for me. I didn't got too much of a chance to explore the other courts, but just by passing by I could see that some of the smaller courts you can just go. I don't think you could have gone to court number 1 with a center court ticket and vice versa, but there are even smaller courts and some of the kind of training courses and like kind of warm-up courts that they use. So yeah, it looked interesting. Then it's very funny because you come like, if you get in from the south part and you have to go to the north part, you actually go through a tunnel that is inside of center court basically. So basically into this kind of very, very claustrophobic tunnel to go like just on the side of center court. But yeah, that was also kind of clean and nice, and inside of this tunnel there were also kind of like the gangways that lead you to the seats that are on the east side of the court. So yeah, quite interesting and fascinating, and actually I am now really looking forward for Wimbledon, which is right around the corner.
This station is Southern. Change here, the National Rail Services from Waterloo.